Hey guys, how are you? Alright, well, there was a reason for me to do the live video. I wanted to make sure that if anyone had any questions that they wanted to ask me, I would spend that time answering those questions for you. That was number one. And the second reason for me to do the live video is this is the first time I'm actually doing a live from Dubai. So I am in Dubai for a change, and just wanted to do a live video to make sure that all of you were able to interact with me and ask me whatever questions you had. I'm really excited because today, for the first time, we're launching a program that can be used by anyone and everyone in our profession to become better. I want you all to think about a few questions that I've always asked myself, and I want you all to think about this on a daily basis. Number one is, why did you join this business? What's your purpose and how are you going to grow in this business? Because if you don't have the mental ability to understand what's missing, it will not allow you to grow. So a few questions that we'll be talking about today, and I'll spend a little bit more time building that for you. Send me your questions because I want to know what are the issues that you're facing. Guys, this is the final sprint. In the final sprint, we got to understand two very important things. Number one, what is left for this year to do? Today is the 23rd of December. 23rd of December, we have pretty much got 1 week left. In this 1 week, what should we be focusing on? As soon as 31st December finishes, on the 1st of January, everything restarts. First of all, hi guys. Hi Stephen, how are you? It's fantastic to see Nathan here as well. Delilah, nice to see you as well. I'm so glad you guys could make it online. I'll be sharing some strategies on how you should be focusing on goal setting for the next year. So I want to spend some time with each one of you today because it's about understanding what is the purpose of doing this in our business. Guys, in the last 1 week of this year, I need you all to focus on something very important. Number one is now focusing purely on underwriting. All the cases that you have submitted, getting them approved is going to be your most important task. Holidays will officially start in the next few days. Once the holidays start, it's very difficult to get access to reinsurers and underwriters. So make sure that you spend the next 1 week getting all your cases issued. Focus on the details. Don't think you need to do more sales. You have time extra, do sales, but right now focus on getting all the cases that are pending issued, get them out, because very, very important right now. That's one of the reasons why I'm in the office. I'm making sure that all my cases that are pending, I can try and get them issued before the end of the year. Because on 1st of January, everything resets. You see, everything on the 1st of January becomes a brand new business. So this 1 week, 23rd December to the 31st of December, focus on getting your cases issued. We as a profession need to work together. That's the problem, that we as a profession don't share ideas with each other. And that's what I want to do, is get a way that you can understand what I'm doing and build it from there. Hey Mike, good to see you. I hope everything in the Philippines is good. Also guys, I want you all to be able to share with me or ask me any questions that you have in terms of our business. In our business, one of the factors that a lot of people forget to ask me is, Sanjay, what's the strategy that you have used? Now you see, everyone asks me the problems that they have. What they've never asked or they've asked me is, Sanjay, how do you build your own business? What is the difference that between the way you sell insurance and the way we sell insurance? So what's that difference? We always get so stuck in our own problems, we forget to learn new strategies. That was the purpose of me setting up the big case closing program. this is the first time I'm ever doing this, is where I'm looking away from what you're already doing and teaching you a new skill set. Every single person in the world knows wealthier clients, but they actually don't know how to position themselves or how to present themselves to these prospects. A lot of people think if I have a good social media profile, that would allow me to become a successful big case closer. Guys, let's get one thing very clear. Majority of the wealthy people in the world don't even have the time to go online to check on who you are. They would have been recommended by someone to work with you. Please understand that yes, you need a social profile, but it doesn't get you the business. It only allows you to be recognized by somebody. When you're working with clients want to know, what do you bring to the table? So what makes you special? What makes you become their trusted advisor? So if you don't have that clarity, that's where the problems start. It needs to be structured, the way you start approaching them. I'll give you a very simple example. Last week, I was meeting with a client. His net worth would be in the excess of about $500 million. Now, meeting him was not the difficult part because I knew exactly where to go to meet with him. But after you meet him, what's the conversation that you should have? That's a problem that we have. How do you start that conversation? What is the next thing? Because one of the things they will tell you is, Sanjay, I have everything. I have money, I have real estate, I have businesses, I have investments, I've got guys who are managing my portfolio, I get returns from those portfolio. Why does my family need insurance? You need to be able to answer those questions very quickly. You need to be able to position why they need you more than anybody else. And if you can't get that across, we've already lost those clients. But it's a very structured process. And that process is what I want to teach and share with each one of you. That was the whole purpose of setting up the Big Case Closer program. That's the only purpose, because each one of us is already working hard. We're already meeting as many clients as we can. But we stagnate in terms of our revenue. We end up getting stuck where we have reached. How many clients can you meet in a day? There's a limit to that. Physically, there are only so many clients that you can meet. And physically, you need to know what your limitations are. So from a physical perspective, let's say I can meet 6 people in a day. I can't push that. I can maybe push that to 7, but I can't push that to 60 people in a day. So how does my revenue increase? If my revenue does not increase by meeting more people, it has to increase by case size. So if I have to increase my case size, what's the skill set that you require to increase case size? Because your product is not different. Your product is exactly the same. How does your case size increase? Why would a rich person buy insurance? I want you all to spend a little bit more time writing down these questions, because these are questions that I want to answer for you. These are questions that you need to have answers for and believe in them, because if you don't believe in these answers, you will never be able to have that interaction with your clients. Hi Basant, you have asked a very interesting question. How to start talking about insurance with new people? Now, guys, if you know my process, that's what I talk about, the process of starting a conversation. The process of starting a conversation is twofold. Number one, you can either start a conversation by using a case study, something that you've already done for an existing client. Hi, Mr. Client, I was just working with this family. Don't mention family names. Privacy and confidentiality is a very important part of our business. But I was just working with this family, and when I was talking to this family, I found out that they had these risks, and this is what I did for them. It's a case study. That's one way of starting a conversation with a new person. The second way of starting a conversation with a new person is by using a concept presentation, giving them a concept that they would have otherwise not thought about. So why do they need to buy insurance? You need a very, very important concept. So Basan, that's a very important question. How to start talking with new clients? Number one, let me summarize it for you. Number one is you use a case study. Number two is you use questions as a way to present a concept presentation. Now, Rajesh, how are you doing? It's good to see you as well. Okay. I'm just making sure I don't miss any of your questions. Rajesh, you want a book of mine? Fantastic. All right. Which book do you want, Rajesh? That's even more important question. Guys, a lot of people have asked me, Sanjay, which book should I start with? Or which book should I buy? Something that I'm going to do. Anyone who signs up today for the Big Case Closer program, the first 20 guys who sign up, I will make sure that you get a full book set from my side as a gift. And the reason for me to do that is because I want you all to have your basics clear. There are two levels in our business. Number one is getting your basics in order. Once you have built the basics, the next step is making sure that you understand how to grow your business. Now, there's a very interesting question that Kareem has asked. How do you sell insurance to businessmen who believe they have everything and don't need insurance? That is exactly the reason why I had to start this program, because even though the answer of this question is so simple, most of us don't know how to present it. And I need to spend time teaching you how to present exactly the answer to this question. How do you sell insurance to a businessman who believes they have everything and don't need insurance? But the interesting thing is that's the same belief that business people have. Even if they have $10 million or $1 billion, they have exactly the same belief. How can it be not different? You have $10 million, the way you work is very different. You have $1 billion, the way you behave is very different. So if there's so much difference, why do they still believe they don't need insurance? Insurance has always been considered as an expense to some of these families. Insurance has always been positioned that, hey, you're poor, if you lose your income, you will die, you have no money, your family will suffer. That's how insurance has always been positioned, as a product that stops you from suffering. Now, if a client doesn't believe that their family will suffer, they will never buy insurance. So we've already got that wrong. So if you guys want to join the program, we're going to have a few seats. We're not going to have a lot of people who will be allowed to join this program, for a very simple reason. Not everyone's eligible to be able to join this program. So to join this program, spend some time to read about it. Click on the link. I've already put the link in the comments for you to be able to look at it. As soon as you sign up, the first 20 people who sign up, we will be giving away a full book set for them for free, because I want that gift to be their basics. I want their basics to be very strong. We can then move it to the next level. Shravan, hi, how is Nepal doing? One of those countries that I wish I can visit one day. I love it there. Yes, the books can reach Nepal. It does take a little time, so just be a little patient on that. It's not our business. You see, guys, this is not my business. This is me wanting to make sure that our industry gets better. Every single person in our profession needs a mentor. You don't need one mentor, you might need multiple mentors. I've had mentors all my life. I still have a lot of mentors in my business who are teaching me how to take my business to the next level. This year has been a record year for me. Personally, I've done better than ever before. And I want to grow this again. So next year needs to be a bigger year. Now 2020 is the start of a new decade. Guys, use this to get to the next level. Build a strategy, build a structure for yourself. Because if you don't build a structure for yourself, you will start stagnating in the business. Everything that goes up and it starts to stagnate, the next step is decline. So if you don't reinvent yourself to push it to the next level, we will lose on our business. Okay, Nathan, you have asked a very interesting question. How is a buy-sell agreement a concept for high net worth segments work? Okay, so if we talk about buy-sell agreements, right? One of the key factors in a buy-sell agreement is understanding two things. Number one, a buy-sell agreement is primarily when there's a partnership. So let's say you and I are partners. If something happened to me, how would you pay my family? So think about this. So you and I are partners. Something happens to me, I fall sick or I pass away. My family then becomes a legal heir to my share of the business. When they become a legal heir to my share of the business, two things happen. Number one, they have the right to liquidate their shares. That's one. Number two is they will then start interfering with the business. They might not be your best partner. They might not be quality control in terms of quality, good quality for your business. So what happens is your business starts to suffer. That's number one. Now, the second thing they can do is liquidate your shares. If they liquidate your shares, then what happens to the value of the business? Does any business hold 50% of their value in cash? Obviously not. They will probably be holding 6 months or 9 months of projected cash flows as cash. And all of a sudden they have to liquidate you have to liquidate my shares. How are you going to do that? So a buy-sell agreement basically protects you in two ways. Number one, a buy-sell agreement ensures that there's enough cash in the company to be able to buy the shares out or take an exit from the company. You have to learn to understand few concepts. Number one, liquidation of companies. Number two, inheritance of shares. Number three, once you understand the legal aspects to this, it's now talking about how to use insurance to sort that legal risk or that tax liability or the inheritance liability that the family has. So if you have understood what I do with estate planning, I avoid getting into conversations that are talking about insurance. I avoid talking about tax. I avoid talking about legal aspects. However, you should have the knowledge to handle it. Whenever you're having a conversation, it would start from a tax and legal angle, but it always should come back to what do you bring to the table? Because you are probably not a lawyer, you're not a tax consultant, you are an insurance advisor. So as an insurance advisor, what is the probable way of using life insurance as a tool to handle buy-sell agreements, inheritance, tax planning? You need to understand them, but you are not the one who will execute them, except the risk part, which is the insurance part. So learn to keep your unique selling point. What makes you special? Keep that very clear. You're also asking a very important question, which is a buy-sell agreement efficient for businesses where partners are husband and wife or father and son? Absolutely yes. A business might have a liability, and those liabilities could be co-signed. So it could be a liability that's been signed between a husband and a wife. How are you going to offset that liability? Having a buy-sell agreement allows you to buy out all the shares so that no one else can dispute it. One of the things that does happen is when a person passes away, it goes into liquidation. When it goes into liquidations, you have to prove inheritance. You have to prove you have to get certificate of inheritance from the court. You might have to even apply for a probate in certain countries. So having a buy-sell agreement, even between a father and son, makes sure that the son inherits all and it doesn't go to a third party. You could have disputes between families, so making sure that the disputes are resolved. It's a legal concept, but you need cash to handle it. That's what insurance plays a role in. It brings cash into the family, which otherwise didn't exist. I actually love working with families where a husband and wife are partners in the business, because two things usually happen. When there is a husband and wife partnership, one of the biggest risks that the family has is when one key member, so let's say for example the husband falls sick, the wife also will be spending time at hospital and will not have the same efficiency to work. So, a lot of people tell me, Sanjay, if something happens to me, my wife can take over or Sanjay, if something happens to the wife, the husband can take over. The reality is you can't, because you're a family unit. As a family unit, when one person in the family falls sick, everyone is in trouble. They will all end up being in the hospital. They will all end up being in nursing care to make sure everyone's fine. The whole family suffers when one person in the family falls sick. That's why it's called a family unit. And I saw that when my father fell sick. So guys, about 12 years ago, my father had a brain stroke. When he had a brain stroke, ours is nothing but a family business. So my mother used to handle our finances. My sister used to handle a lot of the administration. I used to handle marketing and sales. And my father was the chairman of the company. Now, an hour before my sister's wedding is when my father had a brain stroke. 1 hour. There was a day when everyone was in hospital. There was nobody in the office. Who is running that company? We are a family business. Do we need a buy-sell agreement in place? Do we need key man protection? Yes, absolutely. You see, that's the point that I realized the value of insurance. I was very young when that happened. When that happened, all of a sudden, my mother was in hospital with my father. My sister was getting married. I was in hospital with him. Who was running the business? That was when I saw the real power of critical illness. My father's critical illness claim paid out. When his claim got paid out, that's what kept the family afloat. Because every rich family is asset rich, liquid poor. Even if they are liquid rich, their liquidity is actually not there. So I met with this family that said, Sanjay, we are liquid rich. Well, in reality, they had a lot of investments, which was with banks, but all those investments had some leverage. It was not liquid. So just because they have a lot of bank balance, they think they have liquidity. The truth is, when you fall sick, all of a sudden your liquidity just dries up. You have liabilities against them which you were not even aware of. It was quite a fascinating experience for me, because what I realized is when rich families are asset rich, liquid poor, they still believe they have a lot of liquidity. I have access to credit line. But that credit line is only valid if you are healthy, if you are there. If you're not there, that credit line is zero. It's quite exciting when you work in markets like this. So when you're working on the big case closer program, the reason for me to structure that is insurance is a very dry subject. How do you make that a fun conversation? That is a skill set, and that's a skill set that I want to pass on to you. Making insurance fun. Insurance is not a profession that people join because that is their dream job. They usually join because they're still trying to figure out what they want to do with their life. And that's truthfully how I joined. I joined because it was a passion overflow from my father to me. My father has been an insurance advisor for many years. Successful, 36 years, top of the table member. And it was a passion overflow. He convinced me that this is the right business, but it's not how everyone joins. Now, when I joined, was that my motivation? Yeah, it was to earn money. That's how you join this business. So if you don't become successful in this business, you will think this business is not for you. So I need you to identify what's the purpose of you to join this business. There was a very interesting case that I'm working on currently. And that case is about this guy, very successful business owner. And he's worried that his children will not be able to appreciate the money that he's going to leave for them. Now that's a very big problem that they have. That he's not sure what the children will do with their money. He's not sure whether the children will just blow it away or whether they will use it for investments. And he asked me to do something for him. He said, Sanjay, I need you to do 3 things for me. Number 1 is, if I fall sick, I need money. Number 2 is, I don't want to leave my children with all the assets. I want to leave them with cash flow. So can you do something in a manner that every month they get some money which they can use? That was the second thing that he asked me to do. And the third thing he said is, Sanjay, I need you to help me put together a strategy that my loyal staff doesn't leave me. So there are these certain key people in my company who I need to have the company continue working. How do I make sure they don't leave me? So one of the strategies that I did for him was I put together on keyman insurance. So that was one way to protect the key people. But I put in an incentive program on how he can use insurance as a way to incentivize his employees, the key employees. Number 3 was we put together a structure where he would get a guaranteed payout every month. And the 4th thing that we did was we got him an income protection plan. So you see how insurance plays such an important role in a person like this. This guy's net worth would be in excess of about $100 million. Guys, the rich people have very similar issues, but each rich family will give you a different perspective to how insurance can be used. So I want you to think about the very different creative ways of saying how insurance can be used. So how can you use insurance? Once you have got that clear, it allows you to get to the next level. I've never done a program so unique. Every program so far that I've done has been on general financial planning, has been on how to sell insurance, how to speak to a client. I've never run a program which is specifically only for high net worth clients. How do you close bigger cases? And the reason why I've never run that program is there are certain prerequisites to this program. I need you to have a strong base in closing the regular cases. I need to have a strong base in being able to give advice to clients. Once you have become a good advisor, the next step is how do you grow your case size. So I've never done a program like this for that reason, because very rarely have I seen people who have built a strong base of giving good advice. Giving good advice is not about how much money you make, but can you give me the right advice? If you have become a good advisor, then the next step is how do you increase your case size? Case size will only change when you understand the skill set that's required when you speak to clients like this. And in that skill set, it has to be purpose. There has to be a purpose on why that skill set is important. Number two is you need to have the right mindset, because the mindset doesn't believe. If you don't believe you can do $1 million in commission or $1 million in premium, if you don't believe it, it's not going to happen. I learned it by mistake. And then I realized this 17 years being in this business that there's actually a structure to it. And that's what I want to teach you. Spend time with you to teach you that structure. Can I teach that to you within an hour? The answer is impossible. There's a lot of practice that comes with it. So after I teach you, you need to practice it. A lot of understanding on why that advice was given and why an advice was changed. I've been developing myself over the last many years. Nathan, you're asking a very interesting question. Are you referring to a living trust? No, I'm not. Like I said, Nathan, one of the problems that we have in our business is we start doing trust work for our clients, or we start doing work for our clients in terms of becoming their trust advisors, their legal advisors, their tax advisors. Please don't do that. There are specialist tax advisors, there are specialist legal advisors. Your job is to be the professional financial advisor, because as a financial advisor, your job is to look at what happens to their money, what happens to their, not their assets, but how do they continue living the same lifestyle. Lifestyle is a very, very important part of our business. We are lifestyle protectors. As a lifestyle protector, it's not about the legalities of it, the issue. Can you continue maintaining that lifestyle if you don't have cash flow? So understanding that is very, very important. I want you all to answer this question for yourself. Why did you join this business? Because if you don't know why you joined this business, you're going to suffer quite a bit going forward. This is a very long-term profession. It's a career that requires your commitment, which is 100%. Anything less than that, your clients will see that you're not committed to this profession. We all get distracted. Personally, for example, I have a lot of clients who tell me, Sanjay, you come from a wealthy family. Why do you not, invest with us in this? Why don't you start another business? We all get distractions. The question is, do you deviate from what your core business is? I've always been told, Sanjay, why are you doing insurance? It's not the best perceived job in the world, right? You could be anybody. Why sell insurance? The world is a very skewed place. Do you realize a lot of motivation in the world comes from people who started with nothing and became somebody? So they will always say, he started with nothing and today look who he's become. What happens to those people who start with everything and then they want to become something? There's a problem there. There's a huge gap. There's a lot of children who are inheriting a lot of wealth. When they inherit that wealth, just because no one recognizes them for that wealth, they start taking risk with that wealth. And when they start taking risk with that wealth, they can either make it very big or they can lose all of it. Those are the type of clients that I'm currently working with. I'm working with clients who are already wealthy and their kids will inherit a lot of wealth. What are those clients supposed to do? How are those kids going to build a reputation for themselves or build an image for themselves? I want you to think about this. We have always spoken about the rags to riches story. Poor guy became rich. What about the rich? The rich guy who became richer. So the other story that we hear is the rich guy who became poor. The other story is the poor guy who became rich. What about the rich guy who became richer? Who talks about them? Nobody. So what happens in the process? There are two things people work for sometimes, which is money, fame. Two very strong motivations to work, money or fame. If money is not your motivation, then probably fame is. And if you remove fame and money from the picture, then what's the other motivation? It could be society. So you could be saying, I'm working for society. Well, if you're working for society, you will automatically get fame. Now, when you're working for society, are you going to use up all your capital, or do you want to earn money and then use for society? So you see, there are so many permutation combinations that come into play. Can you have this exciting conversation with your clients? To have this exciting conversation, you need to know what type of presentations to do. You need to understand the different ways people think, the different ways that rich families think. Understanding that mindset is very, very important. So, okay, there's a question that's come in, is how to handle objections, which is a rich prospect that requests quotations from a financial advisor. I want you to think about this. When you buy a property, does the real estate agent give you a projection on how the property value will increase or how the rental income will be? I want you to think about it. The second thing is, when you go to a doctor and they give you a treatment plan, do they give you a projection on how your treatment plan will work? No, they verbally explain it to their patients or to their clients. A quotation is the only purpose of having a quotation is to put a dollar figure to what they are looking at buying. So for example, I have a client who's buying, let's say, $10 million. When a client is buying $10 million and they tell me, Sanjay, can you give me a quotation for it? Well, the quotation is approximately 1%. All right. Can you give me that in writing? Yeah, sure. I'll send you an email. Your price for a $10 million policy is approximately 1%. Enter. Send. No. People give me bigger quotations. You're buying life insurance. You die, I pay. That's the terms and conditions. You have to die. There is no other way to die. So you either die 100% or you don't die. There is no 50-50. There's no 99-1%. You're not 99% dead. You're either 100% dead or you're not dead. That's it. And if you die, I pay the 10 million to your family. No. But what about projections? What projection would you like? You see, one of the things that we have to understand is every quotation that you give to a client is already a lie. Because till the underwriter does not agree on the quotation, till the policy is actually not issued, the quotation doesn't have any value. It's only a number. And when a client tells you, can I have a quotation? They're basically trying to tell you, I don't trust the word you say, I want it in writing. Well, give it to them in writing. Give them exactly what you said in writing. Don't be scared about giving good advice. If you are giving correct advice, your clients will work with you. That's one of the major things that a lot of people forget is your clients, if they don't trust you, they will keep telling you, send me quotations, let me do comparisons. That just means there's not enough trust that's been built. To build trust, you have to clarify why they should work with you. Why should they even buy insurance? Satish, you've given a very interesting question. I don't have sufficient clients list. How do I increase my clients list? Satish, one of the ways to handle that is you need to work on what we call the recommendation principle. You have an existing base of clients. Your existing base of clients will recommend you other clients if you understand the strategy. So there are two things you have to answer when you're asking for recommendations. The number one thing that you have to answer is, what is the type of client you like to work with? Obviously, you don't want to work with just anyone and everyone, right? You want to work with a certain type of client. So you need to first of all write down, guys, you can take a paper and pen and you probably want to write this down. Number one is, what is the type of client you like to work with? So once you have that clear, the type of client you like to work with, that's the type of client you ask for. Number two is, how would you like to be introduced? You see, a lot of us don't even know how our clients should introduce us. So let's say, for example, you called up a client and you said, do you know what I do? And they will not be able to give you a very good answer. They'll probably just say, yeah, you're my insurance agent, or you're my relationship manager, or you're my wealth advisor, or you're my financial advisor. That's pretty much what they will say. Now, how many people are excited to meet other financial advisors? Think about it. So let's say your client recommends you to one of their friends and says, I want to recommend you to Satish. Satish is my financial advisor, is a fantastic guy. That's the thought process that we've all been living with. Who is excited to meet a financial advisor? No one. Let's get one thing very clear. At least we need to be honest to ourselves. No one's excited to meet financial advisors or insurance agents when they have some free time. So if they have some free time, they'd rather be spending it with their family, they'd rather be meeting with someone they like. They are not looking forward to meeting with a financial advisor or an insurance advisor. So how would you like to be introduced? So 2 questions. Number 1 was, what is the type of client you like to work with? Number 2 is, how would you like to be introduced? I want you to think a little creative on this one. Don't use very fancy words. So I know I've heard people say, I'm a financial doctor, I'm a financial engineer, I'm a financial builder, whatever. Don't be very creative. Be simple. In today's world, the more simple you are, the more successful you will be. Simplicity is a very important part of our business. We have made our concepts so complicated that a lot of our clients don't even understand what we talk sometimes. And every time you've had a complicated conversation, they will spend so much time saying, I'm going to think about it, or I need to do some research about it. Let me do some comparison. Let me speak to a few people. You will never end up actually having a proper conversation. Guys, keep it simple. Because if you don't keep it simple, you're going to have a problem. Concepts of insurance are already very complicated. You need to make them simpler for your clients to understand. If you don't have enough clients, go out and meet people. That is a very basic problem. Guys, in our business, if you are not able to find good clients, if you're not already working with a decent client base, you have a basic problem in place. Sort that out first. Now, the interesting thing is, every guy that I meet has always told me, Sanjay, I have access to a wealthier client base, but I don't know what to sell to them, or I don't know how to sell to them. What should I talk? How should I start that conversation? What product do they need? What is the risk they have? I mean, seriously, they're so rich. What risk do they have? They have all the money in the world. They can fight battles. They can, buy anything they want. How do you work with clients like that? There's a very different strategy for that. And that's what I wanted to cover in the big case closing program. Put together a strategy that I want you to use once you have a decent client base. So I'm not going to spend much more time on this, but I want you all to spend a little time with yourself to understand what is the next thing that you want to do. In this business, if you want to get to the next level, spend time on building a strategy for yourself. Write down your goals, get your goals very clear, understand what is the meaning of a goal. A goal is not just a target. So a lot of people tell me, Sanjay, when I do goal setting, I write down that I want to achieve top of the table, which is one of the highest goals in our profession. But understand one thing, MDRT is a very important goal. It's a benchmark that our industry has set to tell us that, hey, you're in the right direction. After you hit MDRT, the next direction benchmark or milestone is what we call COT. It allows you to build to the next milestone. Once you've hit top of the table, what happens after that? You have to learn to set personal milestones. So I have a lot of mentees who are TOTs, but they want to get to the next level, because once you've hit top of the table, what's next after that? You need to set up a structure that takes you even higher and higher and higher. You don't stop at top of the table. Once you've hit top of the table, what they're trying to tell you, you have graduated into becoming a top producer. Find a mentor that pushes you even further than that. That's what happened in my life. I got a mentor that pushed me to believing that top of the table is not an annual target. It changed the way I think about top of the table as a qualification. We have benchmarks in our profession. Learn to hit your benchmarks. Once you've hit all the benchmarks, the next is you build your own benchmark. You learn to challenge yourself on what's next. And that's what I'm doing in 2020. I'm challenging myself to a bigger goal. I'm challenging myself to something I've never done. But if I don't do that, then who else will? Already done everything that needed to be done. So how do I move up from there? find yourself a mentor. Build yourself a mentor that will allow you to grow with them. Every single person in our profession is suffering on exactly the same problems. If you read the objections, right, we all get similar objections. If you think about insurance products, we all have very similar products. The difference between product A and product B will be so small that that's an insignificant difference. So guys, it's not about the product. It's us. We as a profession, we as advisors have to grow our capabilities. We as advisors have to invest in ourselves. We as advisors have to grow our skill set. And when we do that, that's the very point where you grow. Spend some time. I want you all to spend a little bit more time to understand it's not about social media. A lot of people tell me, Sanjay, I'm doing a lot of social media branding, and that social media branding will get me business. It does not get you business. Please get that very clear. It allows you to build a brand online, but it doesn't bring you business. I have had 0 clients that have come through me through Facebook. I have 0 clients that have come through me through Instagram. That's one of the reasons why I share everything here, because none of your clients come through these channels. If you look at the clients that I have built today, every single client that I have today has come to me because of the work that I've done. I've been recommended to meet with them, and social media only allows me to access some prestige or certain amount of fame, but it doesn't get you your clients. In the Big Case Closer program, I want to be focusing you on building your client base to the next level. You have access to these clients, but you don't know what to have a conversation with them on. That's what I want to do. So if you're excited to grow your business to the next level, join the program. Guys, it's the end of 2019. It is the end of a decade. We're starting 2020. It's a brand new decade. Let's get to the next level together. So I'm going to say goodbye here. It's been a pleasure spending this time with you. If you have any questions, do send them across to me. I'd love to answer them for you. I personally try and answer every question that comes through. The first 20 guys who register, which I think, the first 20 guys who register for today's program will get a full book set for free. That's a gift from my side to make sure that you've got your basics out of the way, and then we can move to the next level. Thank you very much for joining me in this live. And hey guys, it's really the first time I've done my live in Dubai, and it's super exciting. So great to see all you guys. Take care. If you are interested about how you can apply to be part of the Big Case Closer program, where you get access to my big case closing strategies, click on the button below and find out more.